Hey everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and here on my YouTube channel. And in this video, we are going to continue on with our Softube Console 1 mixing system series. This time out, we have something really cool that I haven't seen anyone ever do on YouTube. So maybe I'm the first one, who knows? But as you can see in the top left-hand corner of the screen, yes, oh yes, we have two Console 1 fader units together to give us a beautiful 20 faders. So I'm going to talk about why that I think that's important, and why I think that if you're considering this system, that you may want to consider the second Console 1 fader. We'll talk about that in a bit. Before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you also check out my playlist of the rest of the Softube Console 1 mixing system videos. There's probably, by the time you see this video, probably 7 to 10 videos, as well as a couple of live streams where you see this thing in action. And we do everything from the talking about the unboxing, the build quality, the fit and finish, the setup, walk through all the controls. Go watch the entire playlist if you're someone who either just purchased this and you have it for the first time and you want to learn how to get up and running quickly, or if you're someone that's considering purchasing the Softube Console 1 mixing system here, you want to learn more about it, that playlist will really help you. All the links are in the description box below. Also, make sure that if you're interested in purchasing one of these, I have a link to Sweetwater in the description box as well. That is my affiliate link. So if you purchase using that link, I get a small commission, but you don't pay any more for the product. Thank you so much in advance for people who has already done that. Since I put out these sets of videos, several of you have bought this from Sweetwater, and you guys have emailed me and told me about it, and I want to say thank you personally to everyone who's done that. And if you have any questions, you can always email me through homerecordingmadeeasy.com, which, by the way, if this is your first time here, make sure you go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. We're talking about a mixing system. I'm going to give you a free $100 mixing course. It's right on the homepage. Can't miss it. Click the orange button. It's my gift to you just for visiting homerecordingmadeeasy.com. And the last set of housekeeping information before we get rolling here is full disclosure. I have reached out to Softube about a month ago, asked them to send me one of these systems so I could bring these videos to you. They have not paid me for the videos. They don't get a chance to see the videos, but this is something that I did not pay for. And so I just want you to be aware of that up front. But if you've been following me at all and you know who I am and you understand Uncle Dave isn't here just trying to sell you something, I don't get any commissions, no nothing on this. The only reason why I even have this, as I said in some of the other videos, is I've been on a mission for the last 6 months to get my hands on as many of these control surfaces as possible to try to give you a feel for, if you're in the market for a DAW control surface, which one would you want to take a look at? And we've done all different kinds of different manufacturers' products. This is the latest one, and we have more coming in the future. So you asked me for it. I'm bringing it to you. Softube's been really cool. This is a great system. Go watch all the videos. Let's jump into Studio One. So here we go. Now, up till this point, you've only seen the actual 10 fader unit with the channel strip, the Console 1, and you saw it in the nice little economical space-saving stand by Pro Acoustics. Go watch all the videos, as I said earlier, where the channel strip kind of sits up on an angle above one of these on a 45-degree angle, and that's really cool. But as soon as you add a second one of these things, you have one of two choices. Now, I could have kept these two units in a stand, and I could have just slid it over to the side and put the other Console 1 fader next to it, but the height difference is a little different. Then the channel strip wouldn't be in the middle of the two fader controllers. So I kind of took it out of the stand to show you what it would look like if you wanted to put it out on your desk. And basically what I did to achieve that almost same angle that we had in the stand, I just took two pieces of foam here. You can see. This is just, what are these things? These are the foam that you use to put under your studio monitors to decouple them from your desk. I just stuck them underneath here to prop it up a little bit, but you can have a custom stand made, or if you're handy, you could do that kind of work yourself. There is no one that makes a stand that will house this and these two units. So if there's someone out there that's looking to make a few extra bucks on the side, if you could come up with a stand, I bet you people would buy them. I would love to see this in a stand where this was in a nice stand and this was propped up a little bit. Or maybe have a stand where you can have two of these, so you could put maybe one over to the side and then maybe put some other kind of device over to the other side. I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't take up a ton of real estate. I don't have my tape measure in front of me, but I will say this is probably around 40 inches maybe in width from side to side here. And it's probably, I don't know. I don't even think it's 2 feet deep. It's probably 1.5 feet deep. I don't know. I'm not really good with, with judging that stuff, but it doesn't take up a lot of space. Now, why do I like this setup better than just having one? I talked about it in some of the other videos. One of the things, there's a couple of things about surface controls in general that I don't like, and which makes it kind of not the greatest experience when you compare it to working on a real SSL. And I have a real SSL. You probably can't see it over my shoulder, but I work on a real console every single day. And so one of the things that make a surface control a little challenging, at least for me, is this whole thing around paging and banking, where if you have 10 faders and you have 25 tracks in your session, you have to go over in banks of 10. You have to bank over with pages, and then you have to kind of keep track of where you are. And what I will say, what I've said in the other videos, is that Softube has done the best job at synchronizing what happens on the hardware physically to what you see on the screen in your DAW. They've done the best at any surface control that I've ever used, and that's the truth. But you still have a problem, or I feel there was a problem, where on the console 1 channel strip, you'll see up here, the track select, there are 20 buttons, because this product and this product, these two products are sold separately. The channel strip was the first product that came out as part of this mixing system, and this fader thing was an afterthought. So when they designed this originally as a product, they wanted to give you 20 tracks. And so I can select, I'm on track 1 here on the kick drum, as you can see. I could go to track 11 here, and that lights up the bass. And because there's only 17 tracks visible on my 27-inch screen, if I want to go to track 20, I could come over here to track 20, and you'll see Studio One advances, and the console moves over, and track 20 lights up on the far right-hand corner. That's awesome. So no matter where I switch in here, Studio One follows, and that is wonderful. So problem 1 solved. But the thing was kind of cumbersome for me is that because we have 20 tracks here, if you only have 10 physical faders, then if I go to track 15 and I only had 1 10 fader, console 1 fader, then what does that mean? That means it has to bank over to page 2 and go to track physical fader number 5. 10 plus 5 is what? 15, everybody. Right? You know what 15 is. So that is how that works. I hate that. It's not a big deal. You can think it through like I just did, but when you're mixing and you're moving fast on this thing, like you've seen in the other videos where I've done some mixing demonstrations where you can just start flying around, I don't want to have to even stop for a second to think about that. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool that if I have 20 track selects, if I have 20 faders in front of me, then when I hit track 14, it is physical track 14. Boom! Just like on a real desk. No thinking. Track 3. Boom. That makes things way more simple for simple old Uncle Dave. Okay? So I called Studio One. No, I didn't call Studio One. I talked to Softube and said, hey man, is there a way that you can actually daisy chain these things together? And he said, oh, by golly, yes, there is. Not many people do it, but there is. I said, well, then why don't you send me a second one, please, Mr. Softube? And Mr. Softube said, sure, I'll send you one today. That'll be great to put on your channel. So here we are. So now we have 20 faders in front of us. How do you hook it up? How does it work? It's real simple. It's just like you hook up the first two. You have a USB cable and a power adapter because they're motorized faders. So the way I have this thing physically hooked up, just so you know, and as I said earlier in the setup videos when we were talking about just 2 units, you want to try to make sure, if at all possible, to plug these into your computer directly and not necessarily USB powered ports or powered hub, although it will work, but sometimes you can get a little inconsistencies there. I haven't experienced that, but Softube's tech supports it. If you could plug it into the computer, great. However, now between all the camera angles and all the USB cables plugged into my iMac, this second one is actually plugged into a powered USB port and a hub, and it works. So you can use a powered USB hub. You just plug that in, and then your DAW just recognizes it. And if it sees 2 units, it just recognizes. I don't know how it decides which one's bank number 1, which one's bank number 2. I didn't have to do any setup. I didn't have to do anything. I just plugged it in, launched Studio One. The faders did kind of its little calibration, and then I went over here to track 1, and I went over here to track 11, and it just worked. Now, is every DAW like that? I don't know. I would imagine it is, but it's not that big of a deal. I guess the worst thing that can happen if it somehow confused these and made this second unit fader 11, fader 1, and fader 1 on the first unit, fader 11, you could always just unplug them and physically swap them. But I didn't need to do that. So why is this important? You say, why? Who cares, Dave? Who cares? What's the difference? You want to know why it's different? I'm going to show you why right now. Okay, we're just going to throw up some faders. So again, we got 20 faders. We have 26 tracks here. And by the way, all the controls on both units, all these transport controls, they'll work no matter which ones you touch. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about opening up the plugin window and doing mixing and all of that stuff. I want you to just see the faders in Studio One. You've seen me use the channel strip in other videos. But watch how quick it is just to get a balance with 20 faders. And keep in mind, when you don't do this with faders and you do this with a mouse, you got to come over here with your mouse. You got to move up track 1. You got to come over here with your mouse. You got to move up track 2. Oh, and then maybe you can group 2 together by holding the shift key, and you can grab 2 at a time. And then you have to unclick, and then you have to re-click, and you have to, right? I mean, are you kidding me? The advantage to working on a console is that you get physical, right? And you start moving stuff, but it's fast. What, that 25 seconds maybe? We just balanced 20 faders that quick, just like that. Now again, we didn't go through all the channel strips, we didn't do all the mixing. You can see that in the mixing demonstration where we did drums with one of these units, and then you can go watch the live streams. By the time you guys see this, there'll be a couple of live streams where we're using all of this stuff. But that's how quick it is, right? And if you don't like the balance and you're like, oh, I need to rebalance it. I got halfway through my mix and I need to start over. Quick, right? Hit play. It's that fast. And I love it because if I say, okay, I want to jump into track number 12 because I'm playing back and I need to solo. Track 12, I solo it up. Boom, here's my fader. See how quick that is? It's like 2 seconds. It's like 2 seconds. If you've never mixed with faders before and you've been mixing with a mouse this whole time or a trackpad or a trackball, and I've been doing it that way for 10 years, so trust me, I know. This is way more fun and way more pleasing and way more intuitive, right? If I want to go to track 3 and I just want to adjust track 3 and solo it, how do I do that? There it is. Boom. No looking at the screen and clicking and moving the fader and none of that. That's what makes this thing so cool working like this. Right? Track 19, right there. Right, having two banks. I don't need to think about it. 10 and 10. I don't have to do any math. I don't need to go, what page am I on? Blah, blah. Now, this one has, I think, 26 tracks in it. So we only have 20 tracks here, but let's say we had more. Okay, I need to go to page 2, track 6. And then I look over here. Here's track 6. It lights up right on the bottom here. As I said in my like and dislike video about this, I wish these had Scribble strips with the names of the tracks. I know they're color-coded and they light up, and that's not a big deal, but I would like to see, although I guess you could take console tape. This is thick enough, this little border down here, you can see on my finger here. Where am I looking? Right here. You could probably put a little console tape on top here or on the top here, and you can write in your tracks. But then if you add another track in your DAW, you need to rip the tape off. But you know, you can do that if you want. That's how we do it on a real desk. We put down tape and we use a Sharpie. So you could do that here too. But okay, so we're on bank 2, number 6. If I go to, if I want to go to, I'm on bank 2, number 1, You know, now where's it going to go? It's going to go to track 21. Boom. Right? Page 2, number 1, because I have only 20 faders. If I go back to page 1 and I go to track 1, here we are on the kick drum. I go to track 18, here we are. Oh, that's 19. I got to learn how to add, Dave, right? 18. Okay? That's why I think having 2 of these is more intuitive, because when you're selecting your tracks here, it matches the number of faders here, and it makes it really simple to have. That's why I like it. I don't like as much one of these 10 faders, 20 tracks, track 20 banks over 1, and it's over here. That thought process when you're moving, I don't like. I like track 11, boom. I like track 2, boom. I like track 18, boom. I don't even have to think. My fingers just know where to go, because you can relate. Your mind quickly relates to 10 and 10. That's why this thing is really cool. Okay? Go check out the live streams in the playlist, and you'll see me mix this song. I'll mix it. We'll get up the channel strip window. We'll start tweaking around. This video is more about just showing you that, yes, this can be done. Here's how much space it takes up. Yes, you got to lay it out on your desk. But again, if you built yourself a rack and had these things just angled up just a touch and had this angled up just a touch, although this works pretty well. I mean, I got to say, it doesn't take up a lot of room. You know, it's not too bad. I mean, it's a little bit wider than my keyboard tray, where my keyboard and my trackball go from here to here. You can see where my 2 hands are. That's the length of my keyboard for my trackball and my keyboard. So it's about that long, plus another 5 faders if you want to look at it that way. I don't know. You can go on the website at Sweetwater. You can look at the dimensions. I'm sure it's up there. But that's really cool. And it works really, really well. It does work well. There's no lag. There's no latency. It's just perfect. I mean, it really is just nice. And again, if I want to go to track 6, it's going to be bank 2 right here. Boom. So I hope you found this helpful. All I did was just show it to you, but no one else has showed you this configuration. And by the way, from what I'm told, there isn't a limit to how many of these things you can put down. Softube says that they have some users they've seen put 3 and 4 of these together. I think they were telling me, like in the TV world, like TV broadcast and stuff, where they maybe have lots of dialogue going on, that they've seen as many as 4 of these together. That's 40 faders. A real console, a real analog desk, mine only has 32 faders. So if you had the real estate, you could put 4 of these together side by side, and that would take up about 72 inches. That would take up the whole length of my desk. So 4 of these would be about 6 feet in length, which again is not, if this is your main control surface, that's not bad, to be honest. That's not bad at all. So you could put 4 of these together, have 40 faders in front of you. And now, unless your sessions are more than 80 tracks, you never need to page more than 1 over. For the price of these things, that's worth it. I think these are right around $500 or $600 US. Again, check current pricing, you know, all over the world, inflation and this and that and the other thing. But they're right around that $500 to $600 US dollar mark. So if you put 4 of these together, let's say $600, it's $2,400. This thing here is probably around $600 or $700. You're probably around $3,000-ish, $3,000. $3,000 would get you 40 faders and a full channel strip. With this kind of functionality and all the beautiful things that I've said about this thing over the last 7 or 8 videos, this is a good product. As I said before, and I'll say it again and again, I'm not being paid by Softube. You guys asked me for this video, these videos specifically. You've asked me about this product. Out of all the surface controls I've used up to this day, I have other ones coming in from other manufacturers. And if they turn out to be more intuitive and better than this, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. But I can tell you that of all the ones I've tried up to this point, you can go watch my videos and you can see which ones I've tried. And they're all great products. There's not a bad one in the bunch. But this one for mixing is way more intuitive. It's way more synchronized with the DAW. It's got more faders when you do this kind of thing. Because even the fader port 16 by PreSonus only has 16 faders. Now, I guess you could daisy chain those 2 together and get 32 faders. And that would work. I didn't try that, but that physically takes up a lot of room. And the way it kind of synchronizes doesn't always work as well as this one does. This is the quickest thing. Plus, again, the whole fact that you have a plugin window that you only have to open once and you can tweak around and never have to open another plugin window, that I don't think any surface control on the market's going to be able to touch. Even the ones that I have coming in. No one has this, where they have like an SSL console, a channel strip, and multiple types of channel strips, and be able to control UA plugins and all of that. Nobody has that. So even if you have a surface control with as many faders, and even if you have a surface control where you can map different encoders to do the same thing that console 1 does, even if you had all of that, the fact that you would need to go to every single track individually and open up a different plugin window, that in and of itself is a game changer, I think. Having the extra faders is just, like I said, it just feels better. And if it was me, if it was Uncle Dave buying this, because if I didn't have a desk and I was looking for like the real console, I would have 3 of these for sure. 3 of these faders, maybe 4. I would not have 1. As great as that is, that's cool. And most people use it as 1. I'd be willing to bet that. I would have a minimum of 2. This is a good system right here. So anyway, I'm going to stop now. Thanks so much for watching the video. Make sure you go check out the playlist. There will be live streams by the time this video probably goes live. There will be live streams of me using this configuration, and you'll see it in action. And if there's anything that reacts differently than what I'm telling you, you'll see it live. I urge you to go check it out. Again, if you want to pick one of these up at Sweetwater, go pick it up with the link in the description box. And again, I thank you so much for doing that. If you use my affiliate link, if for some reason you don't shop at Sweetwater and they're not your favorite online retailer, that's cool. Whoever you go buy it from, go check it out. If you're into mixing, I don't think there's a better system on the market right now. But maybe there will be. Maybe they got some other stuff coming in that'll be better than this. We're going to see. But this is really good. And again, thank you, Softube, for sending it to me. This series was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure how I was going to vibe with this thing when we first got it in. You know, again, I'm coming from a real desk, and it's different. And again, there'll be videos on the playlist about the sound of the channel strip and all of that. But I was more into the functionality and the workflow. But I got to tell you, I'm impressed with it. So thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. As I said at the beginning, go to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. Pick up your free mixing course. We're talking about mixing. Get your free mixing course. It's $100. It's right on the homepage. Right there, big button. You can't miss it. And if you like my style of teaching and you dig Uncle Dave and you want to take one of my full training courses, and we have everything from EQ to compression to mixing to mastering to recording to blah, 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 from beginners all the way through advanced, any course on the website, I want to give you 25% discount. Use the coupon code YouTube25. That'll take 25% off anything. And speaking of mixing, if you really want to learn the craft of mixing and you want Uncle Dave to listen to your mixes every single month, and you want Uncle Dave to give you a new training course, literally a full training course each and every month with multi-track files, and if you want to join a community of mixers that are all striving to get better at the craft of mixing, where we use different DAWs, different plugins, we mix every single genre of music under the sun, check out my mixingmadeeasy.net mixing membership website. Say that 3 times fast. Mixingmadeeasy.net, the best place you'll ever find anywhere on planet Earth to really learn the craft of mixing in a very non-technical way. All the links will be in the description box below. Thank you so very much for watching today, and I will see you guys soon. Take care, everybody.